drop. My Lord, it is now like a leech. My Lord, it has become like a clump of chewed flesh. Then if Allah wishes to complete its creation, the angel will ask, my Lord, will it be male or female? Furthermore, we have another narration from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud that when the fetus reaches the beginning of the 5th month, the angel breathes the soul into him. At that same time, 4 things are recorded: his livelihood, his lifespan, his deeds, whether he'll be wretched or happy. Besides that, each person has an angel assigned to him, or who may vary, not necessarily the same angel all the time, but an angel is with him throughout his life, encouraging him to good and guarding him from evil. This is part of that consciousness that we spoke of earlier in terms of the human being having a consciousness of good and evil. And we'll look at the evil side when we come to the world of the jinn. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, every one of you has been assigned a companion from among the jinn and one from the angels. So these angels who are with us encourage us to good, put good suggestions in our minds, and counteract the evil suggestions which would come from the evil source of the jinn. There are also 2 angels who are assigned to recording deeds. These are the ones most people know about. We can find in Surah Al-Infitar, verses 10 and 11, وَإِنَّا عَلَيْكُمْ لَحَافِظِينَ كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ, that verily there is assigned to you protectors or guardians who are noble and who record your deeds. Outside of this, we have angels throughout our lifespan, what takes place in our life. These angels who are with us recording are constantly with us. The angels which are assigned as a support to us, which are giving us good thoughts, at some times this angel may leave us. And this is what is referred to when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that angels do not enter a house in which there is a dog or pictures or statues of living beings. Because the angels that are recording angels will not leave you at any time. So we shouldn't think, as some people might ignorantly feel, that they can avoid their record being taking place, deeds being recorded if they keep a dog with them all the time, At any case, with regards to a person dying, an angel is also assigned to take the soul at the time of death. And when the person dies, that soul is passed over to angels in the next life. And the angels who receive that soul take the soul on a particular journey, which we will look at when we come to the series of lecture, the lecture on the Judgment Day. But it's enough to know that the angel takes our soul in the next life, takes it through a journey, then 2 other angels will come back to it whilst it's in the grave, in that state of the grave, and question it concerning its Lord, the Prophet who was sent to it, and its religion. And that basically summarizes the information, basic information that has been revealed to us concerning the angels. And the significance of knowledge of the world of the angels is basically for human beings to know that all of their deeds are being recorded. Their thoughts are being monitored. This would help them to reflect before acting, because it is through acting hastily that we fall into sin. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said that ta'anni min Allah wa la ajala min ash-shaytan, that deliberate careful action is from Allah and haste is from Satan. So by reflecting on the relationship that the angels have with us, this would help us to be conscious of the fact that our deeds are constantly being recorded, and as such we would think twice or think more than twice before doing some actions that we may consider. Now, regarding the other world, which is the world of the Jinn, and this world we said that the Jinn were created from fire, and as we said previously, though the Jinn are created from fire, we should not think of the Jinn as being little wisps of fire that are puffing around, the place. No, they were created from fire. And of course, people, because we know that among the Jinn there are some that are good and some that are evil. If there is the hellfire, then how are the Jinn going to be punished? How are they going to, if they're already fire? This is why we have to realize that though they were created originally from fire, as we human beings were originally created from clay, and we said we do not think of ourselves as being clumps of clay walking around, we don't think of the Jinn in terms of the origin from which they were created. Though they were originally created from fire, they're no longer fire. And as we can be harmed by the earth from which we are created, you can take a piece of clay, harden it, make a brick out of it, and kill somebody with it. Though people were made from clay. Similarly, the fire can still be a source of punishment, and is a source of punishment for the Jinn who are evil, even though they were originally created from fire. Now, the Jinn were created on the earth before human beings. Allah mentioned this, وَالْجَانَّ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. And I created the Jinn before that from a fiery wind, in reference to the creation of man and the Jinn. And from the narrations from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we know that they had populated the earth and corruption had begun amongst them. And this is why when Allah informed the angels that He would create man and put him on the earth, man who had a free will as the Jinn had, the angels questioned, would you put someone on the earth who would spread corruption and murder, etc., etc.? This was based on what they had observed of the Jinn, whereas Allah told them that He knew what they didn't know. The Jinn are divided into three basic types with regards to their modes of existence. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said there are three types of Jinn. One type which flies around in the air all the time, which can move within our world and outside of our world. Another type which exists as snakes and dogs. And an earthbound type which resides in one place or wanders about when it attaches itself to people or objects. With regards to faith, as we mentioned, the Jinn come in two categories as human beings, either believers or disbelievers. The munafiqun, the hypocrites, are considered to be a class of disbelievers. So people are either believers or disbelievers. Believers may be disobedient, committing acts which are displeasing to God, but the faith is still there. They're still in the class of believers. One who goes out of that faith, disbelieving in God, rejecting God's message, revelation, rejecting the prophets, rejecting other deeds which God has prescribed for His creatures, such are classified as disbelievers. And the punishment for them is hell, whether they are among the Jinn or among mankind. With regards to control of the Jinn, because this is an area which people tend to get off into with the mythology and a lot of folklore, etc., where people tell stories about having these jinns doing this and that for them, and it's quite common. Any part of the world you go, you'll hear all these types of stories. The fact is that no human being can gain control over the jinn. This was something specially given to Prophet Sulaiman. He made a dua, which is mentioned in the Quran, in Surah Sad, verse 35, رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي. O my Lord, forgive me and bestow on me a kingdom not allowed to anyone after me. Control, dominion over the jinn, this was given as a miracle to Prophet Sulaiman and to none after him. So much so that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ informed his companions on one occasion, saying, verily an ifrit, is the more powerful among the jinn, spat on me last night, trying to break my prayer. However, Allah let me overpower him, and I wanted to tie him to one of the columns in the masjid, so you all could see him in the morning. Then I remembered my brother Sulaiman's prayer. O my Lord, forgive me and bestow on me a kingdom not allowed to anyone after me. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was able to keep the jinn off him, to restrain it, but not to control it. So anyone who tells you that they have this jinni that is under their control, etc., you know right away that this is not true. What can happen instead is that a contract can be made. The relationship with the evil world of the jinn is through contract. And there are no good jinns coming into our worlds and doing favors for us. See, because they are banned from our world, as we are not allowed to interfere in their world. They're not allowed to interfere in our world. So it is only the evil among them that cross the barrier and interfere in our world. So we don't have, even though somebody will tell you, let's I have this good jinn, he prepares food for me every day and cleans my house. You know, if that is the case, the jinn, evil among them, may try to gain control over a human being by appearing to them to be in their favor and to be doing things for them initially, until they get their guard down, and then eventually they work them over into the area of shirk, because the main goal and effort on the part of the jinn is to draw human beings into disobedience of Allah and ultimately into shirk. Now, the area in which the jinn play the biggest havoc in human life and in the human world is in the area of fortune telling. This is one of the biggest areas. Because human beings have a natural desire to want to know the future. Everybody wants to assure for himself or herself a good life. So knowing what is in the future would then give one an opportunity to ensure for oneself good. So there have been people from the most ancient of times till today who sell information about good. They come under the general heading of fortune tellers. Now, some of them are just guesswork. In fact, probably most of them are just guesswork, games, tricks, etc. But there is a body among them that have given solid and reliable information, pieces of information, which have made people believe in them as having these powers. And those among them that have this type of information, we can understand how they can get this type of information by understanding the world of the jinn and its relationship to us. We have a verse in the Quran in which, or a number of verses, in which Allah speaks about the fact that the jinn, the class of them who are in the atmosphere and who can move in our world, outside of our world, who go up to the lowest heavens, and there they steal a listening. They listen in on what is discussed amongst the angels. When Allah commands angels, the commands go down through the heavens to the lowest heaven, and as they discuss it amongst themselves, some among the jinn manage to reach up to the level of the lower heavens, not entering it, but up to that level, and hear some of that information. However, they are driven away from that by meteors, comets, etc. And this is recorded in the Quran in Surah Al-Jinn. This is described. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had mentioned that the jinn pass the information back down until it reaches the lips of the magician or fortune teller. Sometimes a meteor may overtake them before they could pass it on. But if they pass it on before being struck, they add to it 100 lies. So the reality is that the information that these people convey will be a mixture of lies and a few truths. What happens with people in general is that when they hear the predictions of a fortune teller, all of the information